And welcome to the shooting range. I am your host, the old school thriller Miller, and with me, as always, is the one, the only, thank God, all elite Alan Henney. How's it going there, Alan?
Thank you. Another wonderful introduction by the old school thriller.
Of course, it's got to be. You know, I gotta represent right. So we got a lot to cover this week. We got a lot to talk about. This past Sunday, the biggest pay-per-view of the summer was SummerSlam, and what a night that it was. It had some surprises in it.
I was surprised several. Well, I wouldn't say several times. But.
It was a couple surprises that went on. So let's talk about. Well, let's just talk about the first match. Let's talk about Asuka versus Bayley. What a interesting match that was. What a kind of crappy ending they had.
Yeah, that I kind of assumed it would be kind of screwy, and it was.
Make sure you clear your throat on the mic next time. Again.
Yeah, I will. I've got my inner Rudy Gobert going on.
Rudy, I don't know who that is.
Well, if you follow,
I don't.
he blocked the NBA for 4 months.
That's right. Facebook blocked me for like 3 weeks, so I'm in the same boat as him, I guess.
All right. Yeah, that match was interesting. I thought it was good. I just, with it being a doubleheader, not a doubleheader because they weren't back to back, but we knew with kind of the gimmick of
all these sports references today.
Yeah, very sporty today on the allsportscleveland.com.
Smart man. Smart. Nice plug there.
Very nice plug. It was seamless.
Station ID.
So yeah, that was interesting. I liked it. I was expecting. I guess I don't know for all y'all. You guys had a chance to watch it. If you were listening to this and you didn't watch it, shame on you. But I was expecting one of them to lose. I just thought it would be Bayley that would lose.
Yeah, and if you want to discuss anything that happened at SummerSlam with us, you can give us a call at 216-586-6630 and be live on the air with us with any of your questions, comments, concerns, complaints, ramblings, whatever you want to do. So let's say, SummerSlam, not many titles changed hands. We had the Raw Women's Championship. Asuka defeated Sasha Banks.
Yes, she did. And that they're setting some kind of, for the 100th millionth time,
Bayley versus Sasha.
Some kind of tension between the two. And I took a bullet for you, but you couldn't for me. And they are defending their tag championships this week. This week. Wow, back to
another pay-per-view.
Back-to-back pay-per-view, Sunday and Sunday. Yeah, they're defending their championship, their tag championships. And we'll see. Maybe they lose it. Maybe they don't. Maybe they hold it together. But I think there's going to be a lot of animosity.
I see that, I see Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax taking the tag titles this week. And I think that's going to kind of set the final motion for Bayley and Sasha to split up.
Are they kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Isn't Shayna Baszler? She's been on the Underground, right?
Yeah.
So they've been kind of building both of those up as monsters.
Well, her and Nia have been feuding, which is kind of weird. This is kind of out of nowhere.
Like an RKO.
Yeah. So it's going to be kind of like Kane and Daniel Bryan all over again if they win the tag titles. I guess two partners that really don't like each other, but they're going to be together anyway. So we'll see how that works out for them.
What else was on that card, that long card?
Let's see. We had Drew McIntyre retained his the WWE title over Randy Orton, which I don't think many people were surprised by that, but I think the ending was a big surprise to people.
Yeah, just that backslide was...
Which I loved. I thought that was amazing finish.
In hindsight,
It kept both of them looking strong.
Yeah.
And it set up for more to happen between them. Down the line, this feud can drag out. You beat me on a fluke. I won my rematch. Are they wrestling at Payback too? Because, a week in between matches would make sense to someone.
Yeah, I haven't been able to keep up with Payback, and that's a shame on me.
Well, they only have a week to promote it. Like, what? I guess they want to get the most out of this arena while they have it. But at the same time, like, geez, come on.
How long do they have it?
They have it till the end of October, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, no one else is going to be using it, so they might as well get all they can out of it.
Might as well.
And then, I mean, with the crowd they have, I'm sure it'll keep going good. And then, sorry, we had technical difficulties here in the studio as we both realized we made a mistake and forgot to hit record on the show. Okay, anyways, we also had the debut of Dominic Mysterio as he took on Seth Rollins. And I got to admit, for the first time ever, for his first match ever, Dominic was really impressive. He hung with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, I think Seth did a lot more carrying in that match, but I am impressed for somebody that's not really gone through crazy programs, didn't come from the underground. Once again, I say underground, but not the Raw underground.
He didn't come from Raw underground?
No. Maybe he was secretly one of those dancers.
He may have been.
But he didn't come from there, but he doesn't have a crazy, aside from his father being
his father being Rey Mysterio.
I'm sure he's learned quite a bit. But yeah, it was pretty good. I thought his frog splash was interesting.
Hey, he was living it up for his father, Eddie.
Yes.
Eddie's his poppy, whatever he said. So I mean, that was and actually there was two kind of interesting debuts this past weekend from non-wrestlers that did amazing. Pat McAfee, he actually went in there and had an amazing match with Adam Cole. And Pat McAfee, another one that, he's not really, a wrestler. He's never had a match before.
He's an athlete.
I know
you can't say that.
But I mean, so was Mongo, and we saw how that went. So being an athlete doesn't mean much all the time.
You're right.
I mean, he had a better match. His first match was better than Mongo's last match. So put that together.
Yeah. Overall, I know there's still a few matches on the card, but overall, I was pretty pleased with SummerSlam.
It was interesting to see Bray Wyatt actually beat Braun Strowman for the Universal title.
Yeah, I felt like that was a rushed ending, though.
It did definitely seem like a rush ending, and for being a Falls Count Anywhere match, they really didn't do much outside.
Yeah,
so
that was interesting because I was assuming that they would have some kind of big finish with, hey, it's a Falls Count Anywhere, basically hardcore. Figured something crazy would happen, but then for it to finish in the ring, did they? Yeah, I think there was one time that someone went for a pin outside of the ring.
I think so. They went backstage at one point and just went to the gorilla position. I think Bray Wyatt may have attempted a pin there after he hit the Sister Abigail.
Yeah.
But then he hit it 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5 times at the end with trying to get Braun down, and it made Bray Wyatt look good. It made Braun look like he wasn't just laying over.
Right.
What's going to happen now? Well, obviously, for those that watched it, those that didn't watch it, we had a very surprise ending to the show.
That we did. We had the big dog himself, Roman Reigns, return. So that was kind of an interesting little twist there.
I don't know about you, and I don't mean to cut you off, but maybe I do. There's always that when you're watching a show, you're paying attention. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm always paying attention to time, right? Because usually they try to close it out within minutes, even though they're on their network and they can kind of do whatever they want. I was looking and I'm like, this is how they're going to end the show. Okay, big show, not big show, but we had that happen, and then you look over. I was expecting for the little splash screen in the corner, the WWA,
right,
copyright 2020, and then we got a spear.
I was expecting Retribution to come out.
Yeah, I was waiting for that too. I
wasn't expecting Roman Reigns, which, I mean, we talked about this Sunday, which it makes no sense that the second biggest pay-per-view of the year, Retribution's caused all this havoc everywhere else on Raw and SmackDown each week, but the second biggest show of the year, and they're just like, we're just going to stay home. It didn't make much sense. Especially after SmackDown, when they attacked Braun Strowman, it would make sense for them to do something at SummerSlam to make their presence felt.
What are they going to hold it off for Payback? They just going to make Payback a bigger show than than SummerSlam is.
I mean, Payback may be where we see who Retribution is. I mean, it would fit if it's someone that has a grudge against WWE, which is what they're kind of pointing it to be. Then maybe Payback. It would fit the name. It fit the name of the pay-per-view. If
You're right.
We see who they
put
are.
That angle. It's CM Punk.
You think it's CM Punk?
I want it to be.
Oh, I think everyone wants it to be. I don't think it. And I think the Miz is involved somehow. Because if you notice on SmackDown, the Miz always just happens to come right after Retribution leaves.
Yeah.
He's never there to help against Retribution.
I did notice that.
He always just kind of shows up at the end, even when it's his friend John Morrison, his tag team partner, getting attacked. So I think they're planting the seeds for maybe the Miz to be part of the group.
But what does that really make sense? What would his gripes be? I guess he's always been kind of a, you guys don't appreciate me
when he goes
heel.
I mean, in my opinion, the Miz would fit. If you look back, he had one WWE Championship run.
Yes.
He was overshadowed his entire run by the John Cena Rock thing. Miz was not really placed as a main eventer in his WWE title run. And since then, he's never had the opportunity to get back to that main event.
Hasn't he? Has he had a few title matches or never?
Since then, he's never really had any major title opportunities. I mean, you got to think last year, he was feuding with Shane McMahon. And, and it's kind of like, you got me out here feuding with, one of the McMahons who just has to, they just want to be seen on TV every week.
When they were a tag team? Is that what you're referring to? And then he attacked his
I
dad?
was there at that show, actually. That was
in Cleveland. Yeah, I remember that. That was interesting, man.
I had really awesome seats for that show. I was sitting right behind the production area. It was really cool.
Well, when we actually get a chance, I'm gonna have to go to a show. When we actually get a touring again.
Right. Well, we'll talk a little bit about fans here in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, the Miz would make sense because he, when he had his one and only WrestleMania main event against John Cena, the focus was put on The Rock and starting the feud between The Rock and Cena.
The year-long feud?
Miz won that match because The Rock won him the match. The Rock hit the rock bottom on Cena, allowing Miz to get the pin. So in the Miz's first main event at WrestleMania, he didn't even get to be the star of his own show. I mean, he didn't even get to be, the one that was the focus of the show. Which is, and he has every right to be mad. I mean, it would make sense for him to be in there because they really dropped the ball on Miz. Because I think the Miz is a huge star. The Miz could carry that company if they let him, but they haven't let him.
Yeah, well, they probably won't either. But maybe the way you're saying it is if he's leading the Retribution, might be his golden opportunity.
I mean, and you think with Retribution. I mean, is it coincidence that this week on NXT, Wade Barrett, who led the Nexus in the WWE, is now going to be a commentator this week on NXT? Is Wade Barrett back in the fold of WWE now? And is Wade Barrett possibly going to be tied to Retribution somehow?
That's interesting.
There's so many avenues they can go with.
Nexus 2.0?
It could be. I mean,
he did get back. He just filmed it's out, I think now, or it's coming out, right? He did a little movie production.
Yeah, he's done a few movies since he's left WWE because he wanted to focus on acting and everything once he left WWE. But it should be interesting. Is Wade Barrett going to be involved with Retribution? Is The Miz going to be involved with? I mean, and both of them have good gripes against the company where it would make sense. CM Punk, it would make sense. CM Punk would make the most sense and make the most money.
Yeah, that would be golden. I would.
Even if Punk don't wrestle, even if Punk just is the mouthpiece for the Retribution.
And he could still get some spots in, too.
Oh, yeah.
Or he could be attacked, but he's like, well, I'm not going to wrestle. I don't have a contract or something. They'll invade that with the Fox contract where you could just say, hey, I'm on Fox or whatever. I don't know. Well,
it'll be interesting. Right? And a lot of people thought Roman Reigns was going to be, Roman Reigns kind
of. With his being, heel.
Well, because he even said, you never saw it coming.
Yeah.
What has Retribution been saying? You won't see us coming. You won't see it coming.
He wasn't his black attire.
He was.
Well, he actually his attire's always been kind of dark, but
I mean, and Roman Reigns would make sense as well. I mean, I was supposed to wrestle Goldberg for the WWE, Universal title, but because I wanted to protect my family, not only did you take me out of that title match, but you refused to acknowledge me on TV. You just, you didn't talk about me. You didn't, do nothing with me. You just let me sit at home and hope fans forgot about me. Well, guess what? You're not going to be able to forget about me now. Because with these guys, I'm destroying this whole company.
Nexus 2.0, NWO 4.0, 5.0.
But I mean, would Raymond
Noodle Reigns?
Would Roman Reigns be kind of the Hulk Hogan of, would it have the effect that it had when Hulk Hogan joined NWO? Would Roman Reigns have that same effect?
No.
If he joined Retribution?
I don't know.
Who would, though? Who could?
Well,
who could take their mask off and it would be an oh my God moment like it was when Hogan joined the NWO?
Vince McMahon?
No. I don't think so.
It was me all along, Austin.
Right. It was me all. He'd be talking to himself. Vince has got senile in his old age. It was me all along, Vince.
That would be nuts. But you're right. But he's already kind of had a heel run, hasn't he?
Who, Vince?
No, not Vince. No, that whole time he was face.
Yeah, he was face the whole time.
Roman.
Was right.
Roman was as in kind of.
Roman was a heel when he was part of the Shield. But since then,
but like really the very beginning of the Shield, because then the Shield was like they were the bad guys, and then they became the good guys.
So Roman really hasn't been a heel since then.
Well, I don't think it could make Hogan's thing the same magnitude, but it would be up there. You're right, it would be up there.
Who would have that impact like Hogan had with the NWO? Is there anyone that if they came out and like, I'm the leader of the Retribution, that you'd like, what? Cena, maybe?
Maybe
The Rock?
Oh, well, we haven't seen Cena, right?
We haven't seen Cena, but I think it'd be kind of hard. I don't see anyone that could be there. No one was the megastar that Hogan was. I mean, maybe if it was Austin, I don't know. I mean, they tried that with Austin when he joined when he joined Vince, but I don't know.
The whole alliance thing too. That was interesting.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's anybody really that's been a complete, but hasn't really had a major heel turn as of recent.
But just even if it's not someone that's had a major heel turn, just if it's someone that would be like, okay, he's been a WWE guy through and through, like he's been loyal. Why would he do this? Maybe Triple H. What if Triple H was like, I send Retribution because I'm tired of what you're doing to this company, Vince. You're too old. You need to get out the way. You need to let me take over. What if Triple H is the one,
And they run something like that for Survivor Series, Retribution versus WWE.
Well,
loser leaves town, because they like to go to that.
I think that would be too soon. I think they need to draw this out. I think this needs to go to at least WrestleMania, in my opinion, for it to have the kind of.
I guess they got the Survivor Series. Well, they might. I think they still might have some kind of, Retribution versus. Depending on how many members they have.
That's trigger too soon. I would like to see this be such a slow build to where just maybe every now and then you find out who one of the members are.
Slow reveal?
A slow
burner, okay.
Because we don't have that enough. That's the problem, is everything is just instant gratification.
But that's the world we live in now, though.
But you don't need that. You can do a slow burn and get people interested.
Yeah, you got to tune in every once a month.
Right.
Every month, depending on how long you're talking, you want it to come out till WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah.
So maybe.
Or even leading up to WrestleMania.
We'll lead it up because the road to WrestleMania starts basically with the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
So if you made it a full thing at Royal Rumble or had most of them.
Or what if you did this, okay? Say we're going to go with the Triple H scenario. Say somehow Triple H wins the Royal Rumble. Now Triple H is set up for the title shot at WrestleMania. At WrestleMania, Retribution, or even if he ain't in the title picture, maybe just somehow we set up a match between Triple H and maybe Roman Reigns. Maybe we set up that match. And each week, people that Roman Reigns is having problems with, they're attacked backstage. What's going on? They're attacked by Retribution each week. Plant that seed that Roman Reigns is the leader of Retribution. Then you come to, or anyone, even if it ain't Roman Reigns, but anyone. And then you get to WrestleMania where it's Triple H versus whoever. The man that Retribution have been helping for the last few weeks. The man you think is the leader. Triple H challenged him because, hey, it looks like you're the one sending these guys to destroy this company. So Triple H challenges him because it looks like that is the Retribution leader because they keep helping him. Then at WrestleMania, boom, they come out and help Triple H. Turns out Triple H was the one behind it the whole time. And he's doing it because he wants to save WWE. He wants to get rid of Vince. He wants to get rid of, he wants to get rid of the whole McMahon family, even Stephanie.
Well, maybe that would work. Maybe you should pitch that and get you a job in creative over there.
I'm fine on that. I don't want to go there. But I mean that I think that the way I just laid it out eventually in my head just now, where it looks like a certain person is going to be the leader. Triple H comes out, challenges them for WrestleMania, and then it turns out Triple H is the leader of Retribution. And then you move from that storyline, boom, now you have Retribution versus the McMahon family storyline. And you can even bring in your guys like Cena, people like the Undertaker, WWE guys that want to fight for the McMahon family that come in for like little things with Retribution.
But does Retribution go over in the end?
They should.
You got legends. You have all these people that are legends that can still go. Undertaker, I'm sure he can still go. He could go till he's 90.
Yeah. Honestly, that's how I think it should work. Because then you transition from WrestleMania, from who's the leader of Retribution, now we know. And now we know what the goal of Retribution is. So now it moves to Retribution versus the McMahons. And people are coming out to defend the McMahons every week. Like, look, I don't like what Vince has done in the past. I've had my problems with Vince. But at the end of the day, this company made me. This family made me. And I have loyalty and respect to them. Something that you should have had, Triple H. And then, boom, you have Cena versus someone at the next pay-per-view. Retribution destroys Cena. Undertaker comes back. You have Undertaker versus someone from Retribution the next pay-per-view. They destroy Undertaker. And it just keeps going and going until maybe Survivor Series of next year when you have representatives for the McMahons versus Retribution. Winner takes all.
So you're talking like a year-long build-up. That is never going to happen.
It's never. Hey, a man can hope, though, can he?
When's the last time they actually hold a storyline? They
don't know how to. They can't do that. They can't. They can't hold storylines like that. You're right. But if they could, that would be the way. Can you imagine if this thing, because this thing is not a storyline that's just going a whole year. It's a storyline cut up into different pieces that ends up lasting over a year. So you're getting at certain points in the feud, you're getting something resolved. And then it just moves into the next stage of the storyline. It's kind of like a movie where you break it up into different sequels. Like you had closure at the end of the movie, but with the sequel, we have a whole new plot now, and you're going to get closure at the end of that movie. And then for the third one, we have a whole new plot again, but you're going to get closure eventually. And we could do that with this storyline. And if WWE had the patience and trusted their fans, they could do that. See, the problem with WWE is they feel like their fans don't have they feel their fans ain't smart enough to follow a storyline like that, which they can. And I don't know why they think they can't, but they can, and they need to give them that opportunity. And they can do it with this Retribution thing. But we are going to take a commercial break, and we'll be back in just a moment with more of the Shooting Range. She just called me, so she must be here. Okay, I'll be back.
You might know me, I'm 50 Cent. You may follow my tweets,
my
Facebook friends.
just run
Odds are, if you
one
within
break,
6
1
degrees
5-minute break.
separated,
Yeah,
we're that
run
close.
it.
That
What's
works.
crazy is 1 in 6 people know where their next meal is coming from. These are your coworkers, your neighbors, your friends. Hunger is too close for us to ignore. So visit feedamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank to see how you can make a difference. From one close friend to another, let's do this. I'm 50 Cent, and together we are Feeding America. A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Ranger Station.
Yeah, hi. I'd like to report a bear sighting in the forest. 1 second, I'm having a smoke. Next thing I know, I'm face to face with Smokey Bear.
Wow.
And he told me it only takes one spark to start a wildfire.
Did you know 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans?
I had no idea.
That's why Smokey's famous and you're not. If you see someone in danger of starting a wildfire, step in and make a difference. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council. Learn more at SmokeyBear.com. Only you can prevent wildfires.
My dad came to live with us last month, and it's going pretty well.
I feel like I never have time for myself.
With him being around more, it really lets us catch up on things.
His memory isn't what it used to be.
We get up and we have coffee.
He usually wakes up at 4:30.
Then we go for a walk.
He needs lots of my attention.
I do need to keep an eye on his medications, though. That's important.
Sometimes I feel like a pharmacist.
I'd say John and the kids are adjusting pretty well.
They honestly have no idea what I'm going through.
It can be a little challenging,
Help.
but so far so
I
good.
could really use just a little help.
For those dealing with the daily struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. That's why AARP created a community with experts and other caregivers for advice, tips, and support. Together, let's help each other better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Most of us like to be out in the sun. That's why sunscreen and other safety measures are key to protecting your skin from aging and cancer. The FDA recommends using a sunscreen with a sun protection factor, or SPF, of 15 or higher. Also, look for broad spectrum on the label. That means both harmful ultraviolet A and B rays are blocked. UVA rays age the skin. UVB rays burn. And both cause cancer. But the perfect sunscreen doesn't count if you use it wrong. Don't use sunscreen on a cloudy day. Wrong.
kids about underage use and other drugs.
So we're doing in after this because I don't even know where that sound bit is for our 50.
That's fine. Ooh. And welcome back to the shooting range. I am your host, the old school thriller, Jay Miller. And with me, as always, is All Elite, Alan Henney.
That's me.
That's me. So let's talk about these fans at these shows, shall we? Oh my God. This may not have been the smartest idea for WWE to have virtual fans.
What makes you think that?
Well, let's see. At SummerSlam, we had someone on their screen pop up Fire Velveteen Dream.
I did see that.
Yes. On Monday Night Raw, we started off with Pikachu on screen.
Well, you know what? Pikachu is a welcomed addition to the WWE universe.
After we had Pikachu on screen, we had Chris Benoit on screen. Is that a welcome addition to the WWE?
No, not at all.
After we had Chris Benoit, you thought you couldn't get much worse than a guy that murdered his child and wife. Then we had a member of the KKK on screen.
Okay, well, that's a no-go. That's a no-go for show.
Okay, so after that, things can't get any worse, could they?
Yeah, not a racist white hoodlum.
Nothing that could get worse. Oh, except for at the end of the show, they had a video of someone being beheaded by ISIS playing on one of the screens.
I'm at a loss for words.
So we started with Pikachu, which is like, oh, that's cute, cuddly, okay. And we end with someone getting beheaded on TV.
Well, that's the way it is,
I guess. Do you think WWE's regretting doing this virtual audience yet?
Yes, I think they are.
Do you think they're going to stop it? Do you think can they really stop it at this point? Because they've hyped it up so much. What would it look like if they just stopped doing the virtual audience?
No, the fans win. Well, the fans usually don't win.
No, not with WWE. They don't.
The fans lose. Sorry, you're right. Yeah, the fans lose. They've got to have a system. Like, what if they? Do you think they have a delay on that, or like is that just way too many people to?
That's a lot of people to try to.
How many screens are there? Do they have enough? Do they ever say like? It's
I don't think they have a
300?
time. There's hundreds of them. There's hundreds of screens at least.
Yeah, I think that maybe they try to figure out how they can delay and cut people out, and if they
maybe they just start doing plans. Maybe just have people that, like family and friends of the wrestlers or something, be on screen, just so you don't have these. Maybe put actual fans on screens in the very back where you can't really see. I don't know. They're piping in the crowd noise anyways. The crowd noise isn't legit. We know that.
It's a welcome addition, though. It is. It feels a lot more natural.
It feels somewhat normal now.
I almost forgot that there wasn't multiple times while I was watching SummerSlam. Almost forgot there wasn't fans in the crowd because of the noise.
Right, and you're seeing faces.
Yeah, you don't
whether they be Benoit's face or KKK faces or a face that's about to be stuck in that position forever because he loses his head. You're seeing faces.
Yeah, it's welcomed.
So what do they do now?
They said I think they have to find a way to delay it, and so they can kind of censor that out. They have more plants.
Or do they start charging people to be part of their virtual audience, thinking that, hey, if someone drops, $50 to be on the show, they're not going to do something stupid to get kicked off. And then,
I don't know if that's really even still going to be a deterrent.
And here's the thing. Okay, right now, anyone could just create an email address and get a spot on these virtual things. We have no way to trace them.
That's all it takes, just an email?
Yeah, so email. Because even if they trace, your IP address or whatever, it's easy to get a fake one.
But as far as like legality goes, I guess maybe the showing the beheading might be like some kind of obscene thing that they could. They're just going to ban the people. That's really.
But and what are you going to ban them by? Their IP, their email address?
Yeah, their email address. How easy is a fake an IP address?
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If maybe they charge, even if it's like $25-$50 to be part of their virtual audience,
it might deter a little bit of it.
But then you have a way to kind of trace it.
Whose card do they use?
Right, because if someone does something like the beheading, definitely goes against FCC standards. You're crossing into kind of a federal
Yeah, because I'm sure that. So when people sign up for the virtual fan thing, don't they have to sign some kind of waiver? Or
Yeah,
not,
they sign an agreement. Say
listen,
you can't do this, this, or this. So if they put in there, hey, if you do any of this stuff, we have if you break this agreement, we could charge you up to X amount of dollars on the card you use to purchase your ticket. That may deter it because it's a lot harder to get just, and especially if they do it so you can't use prepaid cards. If you got to use a credit card or you got to use an actual one linked to an actual
PUA.
bank account. Yeah. You put the PUA effect into things. But I mean, that may be the only way to stop it. And having an agreement, if you break one of these agreements, we could charge you an additional up to $250.
Yeah.
That could be a deterrent.
See, with the KKK thing, they want to put Chris Benoit. That's
funny.
To some people. I'm not going to sit here and be like, that was wrong. I mean, it's
right.
WWE doesn't want that image.
Right.
But
it's trolling WWE, which that makes it funny. I mean, okay, you're trolling WWE with the Benoit thing. With the KKK thing, you're trolling not only WWE, but you're trolling a whole community. Anyone that's offended by that. I can't get offended by Chris Benoit. I just can't. Because at least he has a tie. I don't like what he did.
Yeah, I don't think there's a soul on this earth that does.
But he had ties to professional wrestling. And WWE doesn't want to mention him. So that is a troll to WWE.
That's kind of like
that's maybe not funny, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's effective. A KKK and ISIS beheaded, that's just not being
Are you about to catch them all?
I'm about to catch them all right here. Pikachu is funny and cuddly. That's a troll.
Yeah, that was pretty
troll.
cute. That was pretty cute.
That's a good troll.
No, as far as I don't know how that works with like copywritten. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter because people could be wearing Nike. People could be watching Nike or something in the fan section.
I think that's part of their agreement you got to sign to is like you can't wear any third party.
Yeah, you can't show up in a Dynamite shirt.
Right, you can't wear an AEW shirt, which I'm people have been getting. We all thought there was going to be some kind of flashing going on. We thought that was going to be the major issue. How are you going to get these people not to flash the camera? Little did we know, we should have been asking, how are you going to have these people not show murder on their computer and racism on their computer? Who would have ever thought wrestling fans are the worst people in the world? I hate it. They are so toxic.
Yeah.
You don't have this at the NBA.
No.
You don't have this at, they're the other ones doing the virtual thing, but if the NFL does the virtual thing, you're not going to have this. Well, I don't know.
I doubt it. That people take WWE, as soon as they see, hey, there's an opportunity, they're going to roll with it. We do get people when there was fans. Remember, like BC before Corona?
Oh, yeah.
So BC,
back in the day,
we had fans that would strip and start running across the field. We'd get things like that.
Occasionally you'd have people
yeah, but that's not a weekly thing.
Ring.
Yeah, you do get that too.
It didn't happen often.
Yeah.
But with this virtual thing, you're going to see more and more of it. I mean, what steps can WWE put in place to stop this? I guess we'll find out on SmackDown Friday if maybe they can curb it at all. I don't know.
Are they doing this with NXT too? Are they showing?
No, I think NXT Center. Well, NXT already had their own arena before coronavirus, so I think they're keeping it
that's
there.
what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know if they were going to be like, hey, let's put them in
because I think the Takeover show on Saturday was at the NXT arena. It wasn't at the Thunderdome.
Thunderdome.
So I'm not quite sure how they're. I think NXT is going to stay where it's at. I mean, I don't know. Like, how do you curb this? Unless you pre-record the shows. So you can edit in, you can edit out stuff like that. But WWE don't want to go back to pre-recording. They want to do the stuff live.
Yeah, and that's a big headache because you're filming it, and I guess you film it and then you punch it in later. But that's a lot of work.
Right.
That's a lot of work.
What can they possibly do?
I said have some kind of delay and hire some people to pay attention and watch. But then that kind of takes away the fun, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy seeing.
I want to see Pikachu. I want to see Pikachu.
I want to see Batman. I want to see Fire Velveteen Dream. I want to see all that type of stuff. If anyone puts our logo up on Raw or SmackDown and gets our logo on their screen, I will cash app you $100. Anyone that gets our logo up on a WWE screen, I will cash app you $100. Get the shooting range logo up there on your screen so it's visible on TV. We got to see it on TV. I will cash app you $100. That's a challenge to the shooting nation out there. Is that what we're going to call them? The shooting rangers.
The shooting rangers.
That is a challenge to the shooting rangers out there. Get our logo on TV. I'm going to cash app you $100. It's got to be visible, though. I got to be able to see it while I'm watching.
Yeah, I'd throw in, but I'm a little broke.
Yeah, well, you know, mid to late September, you should be good.
Yes.
So let's move on now. We've talked about the fans. Let's move on to AEW, All Elite Wrestling. They had to move to Saturday last week. They went head to head with NXT. They still drew a good number for TNT with being preempted. This week they're on Thursday night. Next weekend's their pay-per-view All Out. So, I mean, a lot going on. We saw Cody Rhodes get destroyed by Brody Lee. Who expected that?
I didn't.
I did not see that coming. They built Cody Rhodes to be such a mega star in AEW, and to have Brody Lee just destroy him like that was amazing.
Well, they can build him up later. They can rebuild Cody.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
he'll have his comeback.
It's safe to do that to Cody because Cody has a big enough following that he can bounce back from that easily. People aren't going to...
He could throw a little bit of dirt on his grave, but he's going to bounce back.
Oh, yeah. People aren't going to stop loving Cody because of that. And just because Cody's such an awesome person, period, and that shines through on him. But that was surprising to see that happen. And it made Brody Lee look like a star.
Something that WWE never could do.
Never could do with Brody Lee. Even when he was part of the Wyatt family. And they were over like Rover. They still couldn't build Brody Lee into a star.
Well, that was Bray Wyatt was the highlight of that.
Of course, but even
look at Braun Strowman though. But he was like that last minute addition to the Wyatt family. And he came along, and look where he's at. You know, They could never. I mean, they had that Bludgeon Brothers, and I hated that.
Oh, it's so dumb.
It was like, come on, man.
What was worse for Eric Rowan, the Bludgeon Brothers crap, or him carrying that rat around or that spider in a cage?
Oh, the Bludgeon Brothers, man. I'm still going with Bludgeon Brothers on that.
I don't know. That cage thing was really stupid. Did you know? And this actually came out of an interview with Eric Rowan maybe 2 weeks ago. You remember when he's carrying around that cage and it had the mechanical spider in it that just looked stupid? Do you know what the original idea was for that?
I don't. I have no idea. School me.
Have you watch American Horror Story?
Yes.
You've seen the carnival season?
Yes.
The really small girl?
Oh.
WWE was going to have it as her in the cage. And she was going to be like Eric Rowan's little mascot or whatever. That was the original plan.
That sounds like pretty offensive, kind of.
It would have been interesting.
I mean, yeah, but that sounds pretty.
I mean, any role she has is going to be lightweight offensive just because you know why they're casting her.
Yeah.
They're not casting her because
typecasted.
they're not casting her because of her Hollywood good looks.
Well, what are you going to do? I guess that would have been interesting, but it would have been weird. It would have been pretty cringy. I mean, not that the spider wasn't any less cringy, but when you start bringing along, people or, because
little people.
I mean, that season was Freak Show.
Oh, yeah.
And I guess that they didn't mind doing it for FX, so why not do it for WWE?
Would have been interesting.
Should just have Kathy Bates come on and
as a bearded lady.
Yeah,
who's she gonna manage?
His wife.
She's gonna be that leader of Retribution.
Oh,
it's gonna be Kathy Bates with a beard. But anyway, so with AEW, we had that. So we're on, and we, in this coming week on AEW, which is going to be on Thursday night, they're having a tag team gauntlet with the winners are facing the AEW tag team champions. It's going to be Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall, the Young Bucks, Dark Order, and FTR.
Yeah, baby.
And I guess we should announce that on next week's show, we're going to have an exclusive interview with Dax and Cash.
I'm so pumped.
FTR. It's going to be amazing. You know, I'm a mark for FTR.
Yes,
my
you are.
favorite thing in wrestling right now. So the fact that we're going to have FTR on the show, and this is exclusive to the shooting range, I am going to reveal what FTR stands for next week on the show while they're with us.
It doesn't stand for what I think it does?
Oh, no. I will let next week, the world will find out what FTR really stands for.
Well, I can't wait.
It's a huge surprise. I'm not even supposed to tell anyone, but we are going to announce it right here on this show next week when we have FTR with us.
Oh, I can't wait. You're getting me too excited right now.
Oh, you should be excited. I was wondering where the desk raised a little bit. Calm down there, buddy. FTR, it's going to be amazing. My favorite tag team in the world. My favorite tag team for a very long time. It's going to be, I can't wait. And they may be your future AEW tag team champions. I see it happening.
Yeah, I see it happening.
Now, if Moxley retains the AEW title, if Brody Lee retains the TNT title, FTR wins the AEW tag team titles, that's all WWE guys that are quote-unquote WWE guys that are AEW champions.
That's a lot of people coming from
Is that a
world
mistake,
wrestling.
though? Is that a mistake? Does it make AEW look second class that only ex-WWE guys are holding titles right now?
I still think I said they're in their infancies.
Brushed up against my leg, it was the cord. That scared the crap out of me.
I think that they're still in their infancy, and yeah, they're building people up. It's not like they're burying everybody. I think you're still building people up with still having. When you're, they're not small by any means, but when you're still, like I said, your infancy, you've got to have people, big names.
I just want to point out, I just thought we had a dog in the studio because he kicked the cord to my laptop and it rubbed up against my leg. And I thought we had a dog.
I brought Rocky with me.
I thought we had a dog or something. It just freaked me out. So that was my little outburst from a few seconds ago. But yeah, I'm interested. It's. I mean, you look at the AEW title. It's had 2 champions so far. Both those champions are guys that made their name in WWE. Look at the TNT title. Had 2 champions so far. Both those champions have made their name in WWE. The tag titles, it's a different situation. The tag titles was originally held by SCU. Then it was held by Kenny Omega and Adam Page. So the tag titles are titles that have not been held by guys that used to be in WWE. But the 2 other titles has only been held by ex-WWE guys and guys that more or less made their name in WWE. If it wasn't for WWE, Brody Lee wouldn't be someone you really know. Moxley had a decent career on the Indies, but he was not a household name.
No. Like
he is because of WWE. Cody, because he has the Rhodes name, that may have been a different situation. I think he would have been big without WWE. But he definitely became a performer in WWE. Because Cody now, compared to when Cody first got to WWE, 2 totally different people. He learned how to be a character in WWE, which is helping him now. Brody Lee, would you really know who he is if it wasn't for WWE? The smart fans would. The people that follow the Indies really close would know who he is, but most people wouldn't. So AEW really isn't. Now, MJF, they're kind of, that's kind of a homegrown talent, even though he had some success in MLW and all that before WWE or AEW. But he's the closest to a homegrown name that there is. So it's going to be interesting. And my Siri keeps going off like I'm asking it questions.
Yeah, mine too. It told me to stand, so I had to stand because I don't say no to Siri.
Siri,
except when she says get these workouts in, I'm like,
you know what?
Eventually,
not today, Siri. So we got a lot coming up. I mean, we got Payback this weekend. We got Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt for the Universal title. We got Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler versus Becky and Sasha for the women's tag team titles. So, I mean, we got a decent pay-per-view to follow up SummerSlam. And I think we also got Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews for the U.S. title.
Yeah,
So,
is Jeff Hardy gonna be?
I don't know if Jeff Hardy's going to. How amazing is it that Abyss has been on SmackDown recently?
It's blown my mind.
And he's working with AJ Styles, just two TNA originals, and they're both on SmackDown right now. How awesome is that? I mean, because
And they'll still never acknowledge. I mean,
I dump all over Impact Wrestling because of what it is, how they've been doing it. We didn't even talk about them this week, but you can't deny the legacy that TNA has laid for the business. Because I mean, you look at guys like Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Christopher Daniels, Sting, even people that had a career and became known worldwide thanks to TNA.
I wouldn't put Sting in that conversation.
But his second part of his career.
Yeah.
If Sting would have just went straight to WWE, he probably would have been jobbed out. He wouldn't be treated like the star he is and the star he was treated like in TNA.
Let me tell you, while we're jumping off topic, even though it's not off topic, when Sting debuted in WWE, you saw I about had to change my pants. And I was so excited. And then my girlfriend at the time was like asleep next to me, and I was like trying to be excited and not wake her up. And it was I don't remember being so happy.
Did you eventually wake her up and be like, "Look, go put on this face paint right now. I am in the mood."
Oh, I don't think that happened. But
come on, Sting. What'd you just call me? Don't worry about it. Shh. Sting's silent. You're Crow Sting. You don't talk.
We have too much fun on this show sometimes.
You are Crow Sting. Crow Sting don't talk. Oh, we're going to call this Starcade and you're going over.
I think we're going to have to go back to what we were talking about here. Yes, it is pretty cool that all these TNA people, because originally TNA was all like WCW, WWF people that
TNA was kind of what AEW is now, where there's a bunch of guys, that are fresh off TV from WWE, and then they mixed in their own, but they were able to create stars. They created AJ Styles. They created.
What do you mean? He was created in WCW.
That is right. He was a huge star in WCW.
He was a huge
Air Raid.
Yeah, for sure. I'm so happy that AJ. I don't, as much as I kind of don't like the way he's been treated here and there. I loved when him and Dean Ambrose were feuding.
Oh yeah, it was great. Dean Ambrose had great feuds with anyone he got in the ring. Him and Jericho's feud was great.
It's maybe one day we'll see him back in that wrestling, that World Wrestling Entertainment.
North Wrestling.
World Wrestling Entertainment. Maybe one day we'll see.
Time will tell. But we are going to get ready to wrap it up for the week. For those who don't know, the shooting range is being moved to a 1-hour show each week because we have other things we have to focus on here in the radio station. But at 4 o'clock, if you want to turn it over to northcoastunderground.com or look up Lawn Ride Home right here on Facebook, then you can do that, and we will catch you on there from 4 to 6.
You don't want to miss it.
You do not want to miss it. If you think we have fun on this show, wait till we have a show where we just cover whatever topics we want to. We had to stick to wrestling for this show. Imagine what we're going to be like on a show with no boundaries. It's going to be interesting.
And you said, where was that at again? Old School Thriller?
northcoastunderground.com, facebook.com/Lawn Ride Home Radio, or, look it up on YouTube, Lawn Ride Home Radio. We are going to be there from 4 to, not us, but Corey Hennessy and Michael Long will be taking over there on North Coast.
Don't break the
Underground. Kayfabe So remember, until next week, we shall return next Wednesday right here on allsportscleveland.com. Until then, remember, Sting is quiet as the crow.